Women cheat more than men?
Far more.
Come on.
Far, far more.
Come on.
Far from.
Why do you think women cheat more than men?
Because they're in denial about the infidelity. When they cheat, they don't even label it as that. If a woman starts cheating,
what do they label it as?
They label it as my husband's no longer satisfying me. They won't even say I'm cheating. They'll say my husband isn't satisfied. They find a way to redirect and shift the terminology so that they are void of guilt.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do we know women are cheating more than men? What is it like? Is this public knowledge? Is there surveys? Or are you just hearing this from the people you're coaching?
The people I'm coaching, because firstly, you'll know, it's simple signs that you'll know. Firstly, when the guy, I always say infidelity is a result of men not being masculine and women not being feminine. And what I mean by this is if a woman is cheating, it's because she has a man that accepts unacceptable because he is unwilling to walk away when his boundaries are broken. So what will happen is when women meet that man, with a good woman with good morals, and she doesn't want that man. She's like, I don't want a weak...
She'll leave.
She'll leave. She'll replace him with somebody who has boundaries that suit her morals. But a woman...
But she won't cheat because she'll have the values of like, this isn't working, it's sad.
No, I don't want
but
somebody
I'm not going to cheat
weak.
while I'm with you.
No desire to cheat.
Yeah.
She's not a sexual being. Yeah, and so she's looking for somebody who can lead a household. But the woman who's planning to come home late all the time and planning to go on a bunch of holidays and planning to keep in touch with her ex and planning to post a bunch of provocative pictures online, he's perfect. He's perfect because he'll maybe pay for everything. He'll maybe sort the house out, maybe give her the kids. He's perfect. So that agreeable...
And she can keep getting the validation from all these other men in
whoever
certain ways.
She wants. And he'll say, oh, babe, I don't really like that bikini picture. And she'll say, stop oppressing me. And that will be the end of the conversation. And she'll carry on doing what she wants. And he'll say, oh, you're going to come home today? I'll come home when I want. And that's what he'll say, okay. And because she recognizes he doesn't have the willingness to walk away, when the man isn't masculine, his days are numbered. His days of good women filter themselves off away from men that are too agreeable. Now, when women get cheated on, again, it's a lack of femininity. And what I mean by that is, honestly, what I've noticed with married men that cheat, it's not that they love somebody else so much or they found someone more beautiful. They simply have a wife that is no longer catering to their needs in any way, shape, or form. So,
what type of needs? Their sexual needs, their intimacy needs, their supportive needs?
All kinds of needs. So what I mean by that, it could be as simple as there's a coffee ready because you're going to work. Or it could be as deep as, I haven't slept with you in 6 months. It's his needs no longer matter. And it's really difficult. I understand when you have kids and stuff like that, it becomes difficult.
Is it when he feels his needs don't matter or he's communicating what he wants and she's not willing to provide that?
He's saying it.
He's saying it and she's just like, I don't have time for this, or she's busy or whatever.
He's often saying it, but she's also not predicting his needs. And that's part of femininity. Part of femininity is, I know he's coming home, let me just warm up a bit of food. Or I know that he's got work at an early start, let me just iron that shirt quickly because he's going to make a mess if he does it. You know, it's part of femininity.
What would the feminist movement say to that? I'm just curious.
They would argue that he's not a baby. That's what they would say. Men are not babies. But here's the reality. They are. In a lot of ways, they are. In a lot of ways, they really are.
I can be a baby sometimes, but
you know what it is? It's something about, I don't understand this myself, but there's something about, they could be hungry or whatever it is, but when their wife makes them a meal, it tastes totally different to whatever you could order or whatever they could order themselves. Or when their wife...
There's a love to it. There's a support behind it.
Being seen. Yeah. It's being seen in a way that nobody else sees them. There's something about, like, of course you can make your own coffee in the morning, but there's something about your wife just putting it there without you asking for it that just makes you feel seen. Now, what I notice is when women forget to do that, they set the tone for a man to now go towards escorts. And I'll tell you why. Because they're almost creating a transactional relationship. They're making him feel like an ATM anyway.
He's like, I'm not getting my needs met.
I'm paying for everything.
And I'm being disrespected maybe, or whatever.
I'm an ATM.
Interesting.
I'm already an ATM.
Whether that's okay or not to think that way, that's just the interpretation.
That's the way he sees it. So if I'm coming home and she doesn't even notice I'm there, she's never cooked a meal, she's never asked me how my day is, but I'm paying for everything and I'm giving her a great life, I'm already an ATM. I might as well be an ATM to somebody who's going to touch me and kiss me
serve
and
my
look at me.
sexual needs or something.
Exactly. Who's going to look at me.
At least pretend.
At least, even if
act for an hour.
Exactly.
Right?
And the worst thing is, escorts and sugar babies and stuff, they know this man's been deprived of attention. So they know exactly what to say to these men to have them putty in their hands. If I wanted to, I would know exactly what to say to him. If I was an escort, I would know exactly what to say to him.
Just how to touch him, how to connect with him, how to be there for him.
Do you need a coffee? Do you take 2 sugars or 1?
Oh, wow.
That some men haven't heard that in years from their wives.
Wow.
They haven't heard that in years. Do you want me to rub your shoulders? They haven't heard that in years from their wives. And these are men that work hard and do that, this, that. I'm not saying they're justified, but they build a resentment. So when women get cheated on, it's their lack of femininity. And when men get cheated on, it's their lack of masculinity. And people hate me for this because what they want to say is, I was cheated on because my ex was a narcissist. But the infidelity is a dynamic. I'm not saying there are compulsive cheaters, but even in that process, you select that compulsive cheater. They show you the signs anyway, yeah? Like if I'm a woman without boundaries, I'll know because he comes home late, he's sloppy, I'll know something. But the reality is, and people always come for me and you're victim blaming, but no, this is not what we're doing here. The reality is people shouldn't cheat, but also thieves shouldn't steal. But I have to lock my doors. I have to protect myself. Similarly, people shouldn't cheat, but I have to lock my doors. I have to at least ensure I'm creating a dynamic that creates enough intimacy where they don't need to. Now, if they then go on to, at least I know I did everything. But if I don't cover the basics, of course it's going to lead to it. Yeah, of course.
So I hear a lot about this high-value man and high-value women and all these things online. Yeah. And the high-value man is someone who's making over 6 figures and over 6 feet tall and whatever it is.
Like Mr. House over here. Yeah.
But what is it that men can do to become more high-value than just their financial abundance and their height? How can they be a high-value man, whether they have money or they have height or any of that stuff?
Have complete and utter self-control. And what I mean by that is you try and control your mind, body, and soul in a way that would lead to positive long-term outcomes for you as a man. If you get to the gym and you eat right, your long-term body will appreciate that. If you save your money, you don't waste it on alcohol and clubs and this and that, your long-term self who will be able to invest in I was going to say Netflix, not Netflix, NFTs and all that, whatever it is that businesses, your long-term self will appreciate that. If you're able to dedicate some time to some spirituality or something to disconnect from this world, your long-term anxiety will appreciate that. So a man who has complete and utter self-control and makes responsible decisions that serve him in the long run is truly high value. Somebody who can resist short-term desires and short-term temptations for long-term goals. Who can shake a man like that?
Right.
A man who can resist having sex with every single woman because he doesn't want to get the wrong woman pregnant. Who can shake a man like that? Whereas a man with no self-control, any woman can distract him. Any money can distract him. Any opportunity can distract him. He is malleable. You can't be high value and malleable at the same time. So it's having an identity that's constructed on self-control that will make you high value. It doesn't matter how tall you are, how short you are, how rich you are, how broke you are. If you've got no self-control, you're a weak man, unfortunately. It's very difficult to have self-control. But if they can master it, they're incredible.
So what I'm hearing you say is women should really be looking for that quality and the partner they're choosing.
Self-control.
Not, okay, he's tall, dark, and handsome, or whatever it is these days. And I guess women are more into like the skinny, like artistic guy, whatever. It's always like changing, right? But he's a certain look and he's got a certain amount of money. He's a high value man.
If he hasn't got self-control, he's a liability to you and your children. Yeah, and you have to remember that. So
what happens when you get in a relationship with a man who on paper looks like they have everything? Great career, they've got money, they've got the car, they've got the house, they're put together, dressed well, groomed, perfect height, all these different things, great friends, great network, but they lack self-control. What will happen down the line? Relationship, marriage, kids.
Unfortunately, what that might look like is if you lack self-control, it might look like indulging with other women. It might look like gambling your money away. It might look like eating and consuming the wrong kind of drugs or whatever it is. A lack of self-control will lead to a man down a path where he will no longer be able to recognize himself.
Wow.
Whereas self-control, he has a consistent identity from the day he's born until the day he dies, because he dictates his future. Even if he wants to have a day of no control, it was his choice. It was genuinely his choice. If it's 1 or 2 days where he wants to get drunk and But he's not subject to the environment or to people and to everybody else.
He's not influenced by his surroundings.
He's influenced by what his long-term goals are. And if he's got, like, tomorrow I don't have to start early, I'm going to get drunk today. Or, you know what, I'm single, I'm just going to, today I'm just going to do what I want to do. No, I'm not judging that, because it's an element of self-control. But when it's like, oh my God, I'm so stressed, I need to watch pornography. Or, oh my God, I'm so this. Unfortunately, that man is self-destructive. And you can't have children with self-destructive men, unfortunately. Similarly with having women.
Right.
I don't mean it's just for men. You
Sure.
cannot have children with people who are self-destructive, because it's contagious. And it will then go on to the children and so on and so forth. And so many people forget this when they're selecting partners.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to get to the women's side here, like what a high-value woman is and should be defined by. But you really can't change your partner that much.
No, absolutely not.
Once someone is chosen, this is my identity, this is who I am, they have to be the ones to say, I want to improve, grow, transform, heal, change, but you're not going to be able to influence them over and over to be exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So if you think I'm going to get married to this person, then I'm going to control them, they're going to be miserable when you're controlling them and trying to change them.
Absolutely. And also, you've shown them that you accept their unacceptable behavior, so they can't change and respect you. So let's say, for example, I choose a man who's a compulsive gambler. I've already chosen him. He already knows I have low boundaries.
Wow.
So I've already shown him I accept the unacceptable. So say if tomorrow he became a really great guy, he's not going to want me. He's going to outgrow this woman with no boundaries who accepts the unacceptable. Women think he's going to be like, oh, I'm so grateful to my ride or die. He's really going to be like, I've outgrown this person, as he should. Because he shouldn't be with a woman that accepts the unacceptable, because she's not incompatible with the new him. Same thing with men and women.
She might feel like inferior as he's transforming and growing if she's not willing to do it together with him.
Yeah, absolutely. There was no boundaries.
Wow.
And it's like when you have a manager at work that lets you come in late, lets you, drink on the job, lets you take days off. If one day they stamp their authority, you're going to be like, I'm not listening to you.
Right.
But when you decide to be better at your job, you're going to want a new workplace, because you want better manager, you want better structure. So same thing happens in all human connections, unfortunately.
Absolutely. You got to create that standard and stick to it.
You've got to stick to it, unfortunately.
So it seems to me that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that in today's society, a high-value woman is someone who is beautiful, attractive, has a, young body, and gets lots of attention from men online. It seems to me like a desirable, high-value woman is perceived that in today. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely, I would agree.
What do you think men should be looking at as what a high-value woman is?
I think what they classify as a high-value woman is actually truly a narcissistic woman. And what they should be looking at is a woman who has intrinsic rather than extrinsic values.
Wow.
And what I mean by that is, when you select a woman who enjoys explosive kind of attention from men, you're selecting a woman who will never be satisfied with you.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately.
Wow.
And you're selecting a woman who relies on external validation for self-esteem. And that will never go in that woman. What you really should be looking at is a woman who has intrinsic values. And now these are things like how connected I am to my friends and family. How much do I serve my community? How much can I look after you and your well-being? How much self-esteem do I derive from having a purpose and loving those around me? Unfortunately, they look at what is packaged the best way. And that woman is, unfortunately, she's unattainable because she's emotionally broken. To require that much validation can't be healthy. And I say this as a woman who's online myself, and people could very much argue the same for me. But one thing I noticed is, if I look at my DMs, they're endless, and I don't show skin, I don't show body. It's not that kind of content. So I think, and it annoys me. I'll see it and I'll just quickly, this is nonsense. So imagine being a woman who only posts things that create external validation. At least I'll get a few messages saying, I love your content, blah, blah. But you're just posting your body. You're just getting, I love your tits. I love your boobs. This is a woman who wants that. Why on earth would you think that woman is now going to be able to serve you and your family and your children in a wholesome manner? She's not equipped for it.
But again, I'm assuming that people might be commenting or saying, well, this is, don't diminish my self-expression. This makes me feel great. I can do what I want. I want to express myself. I want to post bikini photos all day long.
Absolutely.
So I'm allowed to do whatever I want, and I like it. I like expressing myself. I'm, so I am. Don't tell me what to do. All these different things. So, what do you say to someone that might be feeling that way?
Express away, but don't expect that woman to be wholesome. She can express however she wants. I could sit there and express myself through nudes and bikini pictures, etc. But then don't put wholesome traditional values. Don't assign them to me, because I'm not assigning them to myself. So if she's expressing herself that way, you as a man, how dare you expect her to have these complete opposite values?
Right.
Yeah. So just accept her for who she is. She's not wrong. I'm not actually saying she's wrong, by the way. I actually don't think there's anything wrong in that. But have a realistic expectation of what that woman's going to bring to your life.
In terms of a relationship.
In terms of a relationship, yeah.
Right.
She's somebody who craves knowing that she's still sexually attractive to other men. Because that's what the audience will be. Women don't follow women who just post stuff like that. So that's what her audience is. It's that woman. So why would you try and why would you force her? Why would you try and get her to contort into your values and what you want out of her? She's going to be more promiscuous. She's going to be more unfaithful, but that's okay. But the problem is, you either accept her for who she is or you go somewhere else. But don't expect that woman to have the values that you want them to have.